Hurry.
This here's Ahava the Homesteader coming to you, recorded, not quite live, from Jerusalem, Israel. I'm here with
Ahava
Homesteader. We're putting together some IKEA furniture to get started here in her new apartment. Where soon, in just 1 week, we will have
Hubby the Homesteader
join her as her new husband, and it'll be Hubby and Ahava Homesteader here, branching out into Jerusalem. What do you think about that?
I think it's pretty cool.
Well, I'm so glad that I got to come here with you, and we get to do a little how-to video on how to put together some IKEA furniture. I was a little concerned because over here in Israel, most things come in 3 languages, and English is usually at the bottom. Hebrew is at the top, and I don't know the right name for the word. Is it
Arabic?
Arabic is in the center. So IKEA furniture, as many of you all know, while it's pretty simple to follow the instructions, it can sometimes be confusing. And I was a little worried that Hebrew IKEA furniture
might be a little more complicated.
If you're like me and you only speak Hillbillistead-gander in English. Right?
Right.
All right. So we're getting started here. This is a 4x2 cube. And one of the things Ahava showed me here is that we should take out
the pieces and make sure you got them all.
Read the manual first and check out that you got everything. So we went through and we made sure we had the super duper pads for the floor, 8 each of the hexagonal, right? Is that hexagonal?
Yeah, it is.
The hexagonal pads. We made sure that we had 4 of these wonderful fine screws. I think bolts, screws.
Screws?
I don't know, but I got a screw loose. How about you? And one of these super duper plastic things.
Don't know what it does.
We haven't figured it out yet. I think it's just a handle for the nice, funky shaped Allen wrench. I don't know if these are really called Allen wrenches, but I guess it's just a round one with the little hexagonal shapes on the end. I don't know, your eyes better than mine. Ahava.
It's also hex again.
Hexagonal, all right. And then we got some braces here, 2 each. 2 each.
2 big ones.
2 big corner bracket braces, and to cover them up so you can hide the loose screws kind that go over these big ones. And then
8 really long ones.
8 really long ones. And then we were fortunate enough that either one of us can't count, or we got 23 dowels instead of 22.
And the IKEA instructions are very smart. They say, don't build alone, you gotta have a friend.
And Homer's gonna make a mess of all the pieces so that you can focus right there on that. It says, not alone, you're not alone, never alone in Jerusalem. You gotta have a friend to put together your furniture. And so Ahava and Homer are gonna get started putting this here stuff together. Now, if you're just here for the entertainment value, you're probably done. But I've been told that someday it might make enough on YouTube to help pay the taxes at the PC and homestead, and at around 5 minutes or so, 5 to 15 minutes is what you're supposed to make your videos long for the advertising. So we're gonna go after it. As a camera lady, no, we aren't gonna go after 15. Yes, we're going after 15 minutes. No, we're not. We'll see. All right. But, so we're gonna get started. We did not check, although we're very hopeful because the box was full that we had all the pieces. So we're kind of violating our own rule, or maybe we should check. It looks like 2 long ones and 2 short, thick ones. Got them?
Got them.
And then we got some square. We got 3 squares and 4 smaller rectangles.
I see 3 long rectangles and 4 squares.
All right. I'd say that those, we might be in trouble. Or
I think these go like this.
Homer's eyeballs are messed up.
And this goes like this. It cuts it in half.
Perfect. So let's get started here on, oh, and another thing, my joke, as it turns out, since there are no written words on here, just the pictures, that there's no Hebrew for me to go on in the IKEA thingies. So look at there. Homer did get one thing right.
That's
For your information, that plastic handle is so you don't hurt your little fingers when you're working with the thing. I think goes the other way. And slides down in there. All right, look, it shows it pressed right down up in there.
Oh, the homesteader. You know what we don't have in our house?
What's that?
A hammer.
Aha! Well,
Or a
That's-
level.
look at hammer, level, a drawing utensil, and 2 screwdrivers.
We got 2 screwdrivers.
Well, let's see what we're supposed to knock the things in. You know what Homer the Homesteader has found out? You got to be ingenious on a homestead. So maybe while I get started, where the hammer is being used to put those dowels in, if you went and found 2 screwdrivers, sometimes you can use the handles to get enough pressure, and also maybe butter knife, although the screwdrivers probably work better. And if those don't work,
I
we'll
can
go
get
from
us
there.
a cutting board.
All right. So you want to get started on number 2 or number 1?
I'll bang dowels in.
You'll bang dowels in. So it looks like you want to get the smaller ones and bang dowels in. And I'm going to put together the long end and one short end with that super duper hex thing. And I'm guessing, since I looked and saw this one has a rough edge, and that one I guess has a rough edge too, so it doesn't matter. Well, Ahava, tell me a little bit about, you've been going to wig maintenance school here,
I have been.
and so what's that all about as a potential profession? And what kind of things you might have learned at the wig making school, and how we can put it to use on the homestead, maybe taking care of the cow tails or something.
Well, around these parts, lots of ladies wear wigs.
Aha!
So, you need someone to make them all beautiful. And you can't just hop in the shower with your wig on. That don't work.
No.
So you send it to someone like me to wash it and make it dry and then make it beautiful.
Nice. And how long is such a school for the maintenance, and how does that differ from maybe the production and making of it?
Oh, well, that's a whole different course, which is really quite neat. You learn how to take the pieces of the hair and you sew them onto the net. And
Wow.
that's real cool. And this course was about, let's see.
Would you start back in October, and it's
Yeah.
February now?
It is
Huh?
February and it's just now ending. Also, I learned how to cut hairs. So we can use that on the homestead. Also for us and also for the cows.
Nice. So is cutting hair on a wig very similar to cutting hair on a head?
Yeah, except the hair on the head will grow back. You messed up on the wig, you done messed up.
So you got to learn to be really precise in cutting there then, huh?
That you do.
Apparently, Ahava Homesteader is faster at putting her parts together than is Homer the Homesteader.
I think Ahava Homesteader's pieces were easier to do.
Well, tell me about, I had you improvise a little there with the screwdriver. Did that work out in lieu of the hammer?
I think it was better for me than the hammer. I had a little bit more control. Wasn't too heavy.
Yeah. All right, so you want to go back to the instructions as I finish up here. I think we're putting those in next somewhere along the way.
Now that would make sense. After that, I'm supposed to put into one of the ends over here. Also,
Hey, that's like a domino trick.
yeah. Okay, so one of these, you're gonna put into the
Long side,
no, short side.
short side. Now, I might admit, nope, I did all right. Into the short side. And you're gonna put that one in there. This is like putting together, are we too far apart? You may not have noticed what fancy job I was doing there. Uh-oh.
Then you put...
Oh, the dowels go all the way through.
Which means I shouldn't have done this. Except what we can do is, if you pull that out
Oh yeah,
for me,
then we go this way. If we put that one in, then we
but
go.
we're going to have quite a difficulty getting the next shelf on.
Good thing we got Ahava keeping the Homer a set. There, I got my side locked up. So you might notice that Homer's pounding from this side, which sucks the dowels back in without me having to hit my hand on this little end. Now, I must admit, a little tap with the hammer would work out a little easier there. Now, I'm curious, and it might be wrong, but if we set this up this way, while I lose my pounding ability, there we go. That helped a little. Just like that. She's going right together.
What?
Oh, you said that. I still got it wrong. Good thing Ahava's here to keep the Homer straightened out.
I mean, I think Homer's doing it the way the instructions say to do it.
You mean there's instructions? I better quit looking at them already. Alrighty then. So, I noticed, what do you think are some differences in the drivers here in at least Jerusalem?
The drivers here in all Israel, they're crazy. Very assertive.
Assertive, which many United Statesans aren't that used to assertive drivers.
It makes Ahava the homesteader not want to drive in Israel.
I can understand. Now, I took a bus over to the Dead Sea yesterday, and I have a new appreciation for the patience, skill, and wonderment. Oh, I guess I should look at the directions. All this bragging about reading directions and I don't use them.
Yeah, we put
2 poles in the end.
everything that's still sticking out.
What's that?
Everything that's still sticking out gets
It's a whole new dowel. But anyway, as you mentioned, the drivers are extremely assertive in comparison to United Statesans. Maybe we only had 22.
That didn't seem to be the case. Ahava homesteader doesn't know how to count. Heard it here first, folks.
Or as I found, they just missed one, or counted one twice or something. And so, I want to give a big shout out to bus drivers everywhere, especially here in Israel, for their patience and skill, because having moved that bus over to the Dead Sea and then back here to Jerusalem, it is amazing the narrow misses and calls those fellers and ladies go through, finding their way to get you safely through traffic. Have you noticed the favorite instrument of the Israeli driver?
It's their car horn.
Apparently, we made some notice going through town that lots of folks drive with one hand on the steering wheel and one hand on the horn.
And if they really don't like what you're doing, they'll pull up next to you, roll down the window, and scream at you.
If you don't like what you're doing, what?
If they don't like what you're doing,
Uh-huh.
they'll pull up right next to you and scream at you. Oh, we did have 23 because there's one over there.
Aha. Interestingly enough, we saw this corner intersection the other day. This here lady kind of got trapped out in the intersection, which happens pretty routinely in my observation. And the light turned, and this other guy, well, let's move it that way. This other guy and several others got kind of trapped and couldn't get out in their turn on the light. And so this fella, now I think the main thing we might want to do, these little braces we were looking at, I've recognized, I believe, I'm speculating, are used to hold it against the wall as safety brackets. And so I think we want to make sure they're all on the same side. So here's the two over here, here's the two over here. That way they'll be along the back. And you can put two braces to hold it steady against the wall, so when you have curtain climbers or shelf climbers, whichever you want to call them, you won't have to worry about them ripping down from the wall. So this poor lady stuck out. She's got a traffic officer helping her, trying to figure out. He had her pull forward so people could go behind her and back up so people could go in front of her. And this one fella pulled up in front of her and stopped and gave her an ovation. Like, so you know, they let you know with your horn, but they'll also give you some visual indicators at times, I've noticed, if they're not exactly pleased or overly pleased with your driving. I thought that was hilarious.
Also, when you get on the plane and it lands, they clap for the pilot.
Oh yeah, I'm always happy when I land somewhere safely. Occasionally it matters to me where I'm at when I land. It's always nice to be in the place you meant to go, but it's really nice to be safe. What do you think about that, Ahava?
I think if I never have to get on a plane again, I'll be good and happy.
Oh wow. Now, planes are all right by me. I'm gonna cheat and use a screwdriver. No, I'm not. They made it just big enough that you can't.
What is it doing this, Homer?
Huh? You got a little off from the place it needs to go in, and this is made so. Some things are made so that they just go pass right through one thing. So sometimes they'll make the hole big enough in this outside piece so that the screw will pass straight through. But then that allows it to wobble. These are threaded on the inside so they hold it in place. So what happens is you kind of missed the hole and it was still screwing into this piece, but it missed the hole on that piece, so it's spreading them apart because you were still driving the screw in and it was just pushing the edge way farther. Homesteader. Very good. Finding out this wonderful thing to help us help others learn how to put stuff together. And this applies if you've ever, you know, a lot when we were younger, when you were younger, I guess I was younger too, we used to drive in a lot of deck screws to put stuff through. And so what happens if you don't pre-drill the holes, I try and make them a little bit bigger on the piece that's going into and thinner here, and the bigger hole helps it so it doesn't push the board away as it drives in, and then the pilot hole in the place you're going
It's kind of doing it.
helps it to keep from splitting what you're going into. Now with this IKEA furniture, they actually have a metal receiver in there so they can use lighter particle board, and then here you have a little metal thing to hold it so it's a little more sturdy with less amounts of wood. So see, Homer missed same on this side. And now that he's got it straight in the hole, it's not spreading apart. Whoops. Now you said you want this to go
Right where that couch is.
right where that couch is, but you want it the flat way. So we need to put those hexagonal felts,
On the bottom.
or we could put on this and flip it over, be the same thing. Right?
Yeah.
easier to get to and not have to hold it up in there. Now I put on this outside edge just because you can see this is a little bit lower.
Then why'd they give us 8 of them? You really only need 4.
Well, do you think you might change your mind in the course of having this piece of IKEA furniture?
I'm supposed to remember where those are in case I change my mind?
I don't know. Maybe you can put them on now so you don't lose them. They would just look funny on one end.
Yes, they would.
All right. Now, these last pieces of hardware, we are not going to install right now.
So we need a bag for them.
Yeah, or unless you want to install them, they would go right here. I don't know if you can see through there. How about if I do this? Woohoo! They go in the back here, and then you can hook this part to the wall so that this doesn't tip. But since we're going to put this in the low profile, we're going to put all those in the bag. Secretly, that also helps Ahava keep track of the other felt pads. What do you think?
And we'll keep our extra, which we did have one.
Nice.
Yeah, well,
Counts back on. So, that is just a quick homesteader intro on how to put together
Calax.
Cala. And we just wanted to say, wait, let's see, it's been a while since I did one. Let's see, for the just thought you'd like an update on our antics and adventure. Just thought you'd like an update on the property, and peace, love, and togetherness.